Yeah, baby. We are back. It's Saturday, and it's been a fucking week with the Marvel stuff, yo. So much to talk about. Got some casting news, a dispute about casting between two members of the Hollywood trades. Some other stuff. You're coming home tomorrow, Brooke? Noise. So, and then of course, the main event, as it were. Actually, you know what? I am going to stick with calling it the main event because UFC 319 is on tonight, and they're having a main event too. Mine's a little different. No violence, maybe some verbal violence, but I know people are not liking the leaks much and freaking out about them of Doomsday leaks, saying they don't really make sense. Well, guess what, chat? I figured it out. I have figured out how to make them make sense. Believe it or not, I did it. And we're going to talk about it. So buckle up. But also, before you buckle, take the time to fill your cup and light your smoke. Then buckle the fuck up. Because it's time to get nerdy. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the basement on this here Saturday night. How are we all doing this evening? Spicy Dan and Brooke, what up? What up? I wonder if we're going to have weak viewership because of UFC 319. Or could it just be because people are sick of Marvel? But Marvel is what there is to talk about, y'all. That's about it. Marvel. Even though fatigue is real, even though views on Marvel content are down all over the internet, we're still going to talk some fucking Marvel. Especially these leaks that seem to have, well, they don't seem to have, they have had a very, very mixed reception. But I am here tonight. Chat. Lurkers. Replay. I can make it make sense. I even made notes. Not a fuck ton of notes. Yeah, that's right. You're seeing pink ink. I don't give a fuck. That's right, front and back. Still not as expensive as others. I made notes. That's how special this shit is. I am not flying by the seat of my pants. I made notes. Can't wait for the next Alien Earth episode. Hell yeah. That show's so good. That show is so fucking good. I enjoy it a lot. Brooks back on a jet plane tomorrow. Safe travel. Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. Hopefully no delays. Hell yeah. Having a delayed flight sucks booty hole. Crusty. Stanky. Booty hole. Oh yeah, we're gonna go over that. We are gonna go over that, Brooke. Yeah. So, well, we may just go ahead and jump right into this, y'all. Oh yeah, almost forgot about that. Ba, 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 da, ba, ba. All right, got that set. Almost forgot to have something pulled up, but I remembered. Well, I was reminded. I can't say I remembered on my own. I got to be real about that shiz. I was reminded. I did not really remember. Boom, 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 boom. Mhm. Mhm. Fucking bug. Mhm. Definitely have to do that. That is weird. That is very, very weird. I'm very confused right now, chat. My apologies. The mouth breathing off to the side. But I had something. Now I lost it. Now I got to find it again. Now I got to find it again. What the fuck happened? Oh, there it is. Oh, this is ridiculous. What the fuck is happening here? Okay. Wah, 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 wah. Lame, lame. All right. Jiggity chat. You guys ready to get going? You guys ready to rock? All right. Ugh. Let us begin with this little item. This popped up yesterday, and this made Josh so fucking happy. From The Hollywood Reporter, Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is set to appear in Avengers Doomsday. And my response was, like, seriously, is this supposed to be a surprise? Like, is this really supposed to be a surprise? Especially after that picture that Reynolds dropped the other day on his Instagram with the Avengers A and that anarchist A from the Void Mutants over it. Like, is this supposed to be a surprise? I don't find it very surprising. Do any of you find it very surprising? I most certainly do not find it very surprising at all. Not even a little bit. And then, what the fuck? How did I not notice that? Actually, never mind. I'm not going to ask that question how I never noticed that before. But give me 1 second. Did you retweet that? Sorry, I just noticed a detail that I had previously missed. Anyway, alright, I got myself a little mystery here. What the fuck? Well, isn't that interesting? Isn't that very interesting? About that shit. Okay. Alright, well, get this shit, chat. Alright. I'm going to show you something, and I want you to keep this in the back of your mind for later when we talk about the Doomsday League. Alright, so this was tweeted out the other day. I retweeted it yesterday. So I saw this tweet yesterday and retweeted it. I was like, oh yeah, Haley Atwell will reprise her role as Agent Carter in Avengers Doomsday via deadline. So of course I was like, strong evidence that the latest leak is accurate, and we will talk about that. At least for now, Marvel has 15 months to marvel around with Doomsday, right? Josh agrees. But here's what I literally just now noticed. Okay, yeah. Here's what I just now noticed. Look at the date this was posted. Somehow it got reposted yesterday. I just went to the Hollywood Handles page and looked to see if they reposted it. And I didn't see where they did. So I have absolutely no idea how this got popped back out. But I just, after that tweet, and I'm like, oh yeah, this confirms the leaks. Literally just now, while I was finding this tweet to talk about it, I just noticed the date on it. December 13th, 2024. This is not new. What up, Griff? This is not new. Like I said, I saw this and I'm like, hell, leak confirmation. And I didn't notice when I retweeted it. And I didn't notice till just now. This tweet is from last fucking December. Now, did it get put back out somehow or other because it is, like, it's still accurate? Or did a lot of people miss the actual date this was tweeted, have this kind of reaction, and be like, well, shit, that's what it is? Or, I would love to know how this tweet got, a tweet this old just got posted yesterday, or reposted yesterday, but I didn't see that it was retweeted. Only on the phone. Yeah, look at it. All these responses in 2024. Nothing new. No one's commented on. Oop, wait. Okay, so there's one from the day it was retweeted. There used to be a way to retweet it. Yeah, look at this. So, I wonder. I mean, is this probably still true and that's why it got posted? Or reconfirmed? Or actually just confirmed as this was. Well, actually, this said deadline. I don't know. Okay. Well, maybe this was just a reminder of like, hey, we got these leaks out about what they're about, and she's part of it. So hey, now here's something interesting. Notice this, because as we all know, the last first season of What If decent, second season, all right, third season only half of it was good. And let's face it, the reactions to Captain Carter, the animated version that they did a whole bunch of shit with in What If, that was pulled from Multiverse of Madness. Mixed reception for her. Some people like her, some people do not. Some people are just like, yeah, whatever. Which is generally the case, but the amount of people that are like, no, thank you, is a fair chunk, right? So of course they see Haley Atwell's face and they're like, God damn it, more Captain Carter. Fuck you, Marvel. Well, here's the thing. This says Agent Carter. This version. Not Captain Carter. Not the Multiverse of Madness one that ended up a super soldier instead of Steve. Not the What If one. Agent Carter. From the time of Captain America, the first Avenger. Now, if she's specifically being Agent Carter in Doomsday, then this statement remains true. You know? That's just pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. And like I said, we will get to how important that is later. But giggity for Haley Atwell? Hell yeah. Oh, I thought this was cool. This here pro baseball player. We talking about Perez? You mean Alex? We will be. Not right now. And this is just a rando thing I saw, but I thought this was pretty cool. Nick Kurtz, obviously a player for the Oakland A's, cracked an out-of-this-world homer with the Custom Players Weekend Iron Man bat. Look at this hog, man. Look at this fucking bat. And he hit a home run with it. Probably off the repulsor right here. Maybe it's face. Right there. But how cool is this fucking bat, yo? Yes, he did. We will be talking about that, Your Honor. We will be. Yeah, look at that. Is that not a sick fucking bat, bro? Look at this thing. That's fucking dope. I just thought that one was fun. Oh yeah, you want to hear a quick little Star Wars is still cooked and still has the biggest fall off. And unlike Marvel, who actually is on the road to recovery, this little tidbit right here tells me that Star Wars is not. So y'all remember some of the news that's been coming out of Lucasfilm lately is like been a whole bunch of Rey shit. Like, the one movie about Rey that's supposed to be directed by Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, who's probably not going to be directing it, which is good because she's not qualified. There's that. She's supposedly going to be in the Sean Levy movie. And we've also seen reports about a trilogy of Rey movies being developed by Simon Kinberg. If y'all had any hope that Simon Kinberg was going to be able to do anything with Rey or anything that we would like, I'm about to crush those hopes and dreams with what I'm about to show you. And this will be the only Star Wars thing I talk about, but it's just like, God damn it. Simon Kinberg, who is developing a new saga of Star Wars films, says he's inspired by Andor. I was super inspired and just sort of awestruck by what Tony Gilroy did with Andor. I thought that was about as good of science fiction storytelling as you can do in any franchise. So I had a simple response. So not only are we getting a trilogy of Rey movies that not a lot of people want, because our only exposure to the character has been bad writing, and then more bad writing, and then, wait for it, more bad writing. Okay? Like, the character has not been done well at all yet. Now, is there a chance that could change? Yeah, there's a chance. The One Ray movie, which will still has Obaid Chinoy on the listed as director, but I don't see that staying that way. Although you never know, Lucasfilm's fucking dumb. But you never know. Whoever the hell's writing that, I don't remember, could end up doing a good job of making Rey cool. That would be nice. Sean Levy has a pretty decent chance at making Rey cool. I mean, he's good. But now we have Simon Kinberg. Supposed to be creating a trilogy also based around Rey. And on top of the fact that KK, while she still has the title of studio president, is doing her absolute damnedest to cram so much Rey down our throats, just because she will see getting all that Rey stuff out as like confirmation of her legacy, regardless of whether it does well or not. She's like, I did it. I accomplished it. I mean, technically, yeah, you got a bunch of content coming out, whether it's going to be good or about a character that's well liked in general. No, that we're not getting that. And then on top of all that, on top of all that, the author of said upcoming Rey trilogy, Simon Kinberg, well, he might not be the author, but, this is going to be his shit, his plan, his vision, his ideas. He loves himself some Andor-style Star Wars. Now tell me, chat, do you guys think pairing up Andor style with Rey. Two things that are considered by more people than not to, well, in Andor's case, not be Star Wars, and in Rey's case, barely be Star Wars. What up, C Dub? You figured it out. I actually think I did. I mean, we'll see what you guys think of my thinks later, but I think I did. But yeah, does that seem like a good idea to anyone in chat? Like, I'm curious to know. Does the guy in charge of developing a trilogy of Rey movies, a character that's not popular, also admiring the Gilroy style of Star Wars? Which, yes, Andor did make #1 on the charts, but there are caveats. Yeah, combining Rey with Tony Gilroy style Star Wars. Anyone in the chat think that sounds like a good idea? Anyone care to guess what I think of the idea? I mean, I kind of made it plain in the tweet already, but like when you really sit and think about it, you're combining, to put it politely, an unpopular character with a pseudo semi-popular version of Star Wars. And they think that's a good fucking idea. I vehemently disagree. I think that is a horrible idea. I think that is way worse than any shitty idea that got given to us across the lot out of Marvel Studios. And there's been some not good shit coming out of there, but oh my god. Like the only idea that's come out of Marvel Studios that I think is as bad an idea as this, Secret Invasion and Love and Thunder. Not even Quantum Mania is as bad an idea as this. Love and Thunder and Secret Invasion are one movie, one TV show. Total dumpster fire. And Gilroy style Andor's Gilroy style Star Wars combined with Rey. No, thank you. So, I am forced to maintain my stance that Star Wars still has a bigger fall off than Marvel. At least till we see how Doomsday and Secret Wars do. If those only have like a middling or below performance, then yeah, Marvel takes the lead in the fall off race. But right now, this tells me Star Wars is in the fall off lead still. Good God. Good God. You know, I almost want to find that. But, okay, so we are now going to circle back around to Deadpool being in Doomsday. So, as you'll recall, we got this report from, now Disgusting Film posted it, but it comes from the, look, HollywoodReporter.com. Yes, the Heat Vision. Okay, so yeah, this is it. Early on Tuesday morning, Ryan Reynolds ignited speculation that Deadpool would finally get his dream and share the screen with the Avengers when he posted an Avengers logo that had been vandalized with graffiti, specific graffiti. Again, it's the symbol of the mutants in the void that were fighting fucking Xavier's sister. I forget her name. Sources tell Heat Vision that yes, Deadpool will appear in Avengers Doomsday. Don't expect him to actually be joining the Avengers team, though. So this comes right from the Hollywood Reporter. Ryan Reynolds gonna be in Doomsday. Now, this is an article about it. So that's a good question, Griff. C-Dub says, I'm fine with Rey, but I'm not fine with that character being the cornerstone Jedi going forward. Way too contrived and unearned. Exactly. That is dead on. All right, so we had the Hollywood Reporter be like, hey, he going to be in it. And then Deadline comes out. So I'm just going to read this paragraph. So in just a few hours on Friday, the usual X accounts that showed their exclusives, and they're right about this, which will mystically vanish if they turn out to be incorrect like they are using the Space Stone. THR, the Hollywood Reporter, had boldly shared their Heat Vision newsletter declaring that Deadpool will appear in Avengers Doomsday, but would not be part of any Avengers team. And this was quickly countered by Deadline's shocking contradiction that Reynolds has not been seen on any shoots for the movie. So, what we have, ladies and gentlemen of the chat, what we have is a contradiction between two members of the Hollywood trades. So I'm going to make the stupid joke I made on Twitter and be like, we are in the middle of a now different kind of trade war than the one we've been hearing about in the news for a while now. This is not economy versus economy. This is Hollywood trade versus Hollywood trade. And you don't see this very often. Most of the time, it's like one of the trades has a story and the other two keep fucking quiet or corroborate. Why? Because the trades are the mouthpieces of the studios predominantly. So it's very interesting that the Hollywood Reporter's like, yeah, he's fucking in it. And then Deadline's like, yeah, well, no one's seen him shooting. So what makes more sense, chat? That THR is right that he's in it, or that Deadline's like, no, he's not in it because no one has seen him shooting? Like, really, Deadline? Are you fucking kidding me? No one's seen him shooting, so he's not in the movie. They're not done shooting yet, are they? No, they're not. Not even close. So, no one's seen him. It does not mean he's not in it. Matter of fact, the odds are much more likely that he is in it. Let's face it, after last summer, Deadpool is a big gun. And the way they set it up, if they stick to that, where Deadpool goes, there also goes Wolverine. So if Ryan's in it, Hugh's in it, right? Ray doesn't have a story that makes any sense. It's always felt contrived by Disney while disrespecting the legacy characters. Yep. You're on a roll, bruh. That's also 100% accurate. So how do we write Deadpool so that he's Deadpool and not overshadow or take away from the actual plot? Well, I'll tell you. Gotta find the thing. Yuki posted a little interesting something that kind of addresses this. Okay, so now this is Geeky talking about information that comes from that James Mackwell guy that Josh loves so much. So according to the Mackwell, Team Loki, also possibly going to be known as the Exiles, and here's where Wolverine and Deadpool come into play. Wolverine, Deadpool, X-23, oh yeah, Daphne Keene. What if variants and characters and void variants? All right, so while X-23 technically already is a void variant, so I'm curious as to which ones are going to come back. Will Wesley Snipes come back? Will Jennifer Garner come back? Gambit ain't coming back. According to Mr. James, he went back to his universe. So, where the X-Men reside. Interesting. So he won't be on that team, but he could very well be in on Earth 10005 with with Monica Rambeau and Beast and Charles and Binary, and that's where Channing Tatum's Gambit could end up, is 10005. Yeah. Which actually kind of makes sense because there's been plenty of reports out there that the X-Men in that universe are going to be wearing comic accurate costumes. Like no black leather. Cyclops in blue and yellow. Storm in all white. If she's in it. Comic accurate costumes is what we're about to be getting, allegedly. But yeah, so Wolverine, Deadpool, X-23, what if variants and characters, and void variants. Well, Wolverine, Deadpool, no, actually never mind. But yeah, I mean, this makes sense now. Because, I mean, let's face it, Wolverine and Deadpool really have no ties to the rest of the X-Men in that universe. It's not Wolverine's. It's not that Wolverine set of X-Men. And it makes sense that there's also void variants, X-23, who is a void variant, and what if variants and characters, a lot of whom probably ended up in the void at some point or other. It makes sense that they're going to be the ones defending the TVA. Well, I mean, because void's right there. None of these are going to be with either of the regular Avengers team. Now, here's where people might get annoyed because we have what if variants and characters. So that, again, if Mr. Mackwell's correct, that puts Captain Carter right back on the table. It puts Sinister Strange on the table. Or whichever version. No, Sinister Strange was the one in Multiverse of Madness. Is that also Sinister Strange and What If? Like just a slightly different version? Yeah, so that puts Captain Carter back on the table. That puts whichever version of Strange on the table. Puts Kahori on the table, and there's a crowd that ain't happy about that shit. And then there's other people that just didn't like the fucking story, which is fair. Who else? I mean, I'd say maybe that some of those medieval variants, but from those, y'all remember, those, god damn it, what do you call that shit? Concept art leaks. And there's a lot of that medieval motif strewn throughout there, and we basically think that's probably going to be Secret Wars kind of stuff. So it's entirely possible that in Secret Wars we could also end up with some what if characters and variants inside that medieval setting, which would be interesting. But so Captain Carter, whatever version of Strange that is, I'm just going to call him Sinister Strange for now. Hori, um, those Old West versions or that Old West version of Shang-Chi. Who is he partnered up with in that What If episode? Um, we could have that. There's. I don't even remember all the characters honestly. Um, but yeah, they got a whole chunk of people they can choose from with the What If variants of characters. Um, I would say Captain Carter's probably at the top of the odds list. Um, and Void variants again. Now, this doesn't even necessarily have to be just the people that Deadpool and Wolverine fought with. Like in the you ever heard the phrase "strange times make strange bedfellows"? I can see the villains in the Void once they figure out the absolute massive pile of hell that is coming at them in the form of Doctor Doom. Uh, in the interest of mutual survival, joining this team to defend the TVA. Like, that would not surprise me in the slightest. So, here's where Deadpool and Wolverine would be, with according to this guy right here. They're not going to be in the X-Men universe anymore. They're going to be at the TVA, along with others, defending it. So, how do you write Deadpool so that he's not overshadowed or takes away from the actual plot? You stick him back in the TVA. That's how. And the Void. Thought they'd say Deadpool for Secret Wars, but we ball. I don't know why they would have waited till Secret Wars, but I mean, it's entirely possible. I mean, there's scenarios where that would make sense. C-Dub, I think all of this Deadpool talk and Doomsday leak stuff is also contrived due to the weak performance of F4 at the box office and Marvel knowing they have nothing else coming out to be excited about. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not like studios haven't employed distraction tactics before. Um, yeah. I mean, I can see like the Deadpool stuff coming out in the trades. I can definitely see that being contrived timing wise, especially since it's trades contradicting each other and how rarely that happens. That could definitely be contrived for sure, just to keep more people talking. You know, Deadpool being in Doomsday is big news. Um, it becoming a situation of maybe, maybe not, in these contradictory stories from the trades. That stinks of studio fucking around. As for the leaks themselves being part of that contrived stuff, I don't think so. Mostly because unless these are also fake, the studio would not want them out there right now. There's no way Marvel isn't going to explain RDJ's Doom. Like, no way. If they don't explain that shit, bro, they're going to be right. They're going to explain it. It's going to be a basic explanation, but it will be explained. Later I will explain the explanation. So that's that one. But yeah, that's how they're gonna have Deadpool in there, but not have him overshadowing too much. They're gonna stick him with all the cool people that we already saw him with anyway. Basically, is what that fucking boils down to. They're having the band from Deadpool and Wolverine in the Void is getting back together, and they're adding some new members. Basically, is what that boils down to. I think the studio is putting out fake news just to stir the pot. I mean, very well could be. And if this would be the first time they didn't put out shit cooler than what they actually give us. Like maybe they learned from the Deadpool and Wolverine fake leaks if they were fake. Um, Damn it, I had thought an alternative to that. Oh, I mean, are they fake or are they just like way behind? Are they just old ideas that people got a hold of and were like, this is what they're doing, but they didn't realize that the ideas were already old and had been shit canned? That's also a possibility. But it very well just could be contrived bullshit. Yeah, oh yeah, that's a common phrase. There are people that actually do firmly believe all publicity is good publicity. I mean, in a sense, that's true because, if you're being talked about, you're relevant. If your name is in people's mouths constantly, you're relevant. So, yeah, it could be either one. It could be old information. It could be studio smoke screens. Could be a bit of both. You know? Honestly, I think the answer is a bit of both. I think there's decent sources inside the studios who have good access, but not great access. Uh, and I think that good but not great access can lead to older information or information that is now old and inaccurate. They could still end up passing that along. Executive Judge, I rewatched Deadpool and Wolverine recently. Had just as much joy as when I watched it during release. Oh yeah, I actually have not yet gotten around to watching it again. I will, because that movie is glorious fun. Story's still thin, but the cameos do have more meaning than I've realized. Oh yeah, yeah. The story is interesting. Like I know that. I knew that in the theater. I did not fucking care because it was so goddamn fun. You know? There's a reason why Spider-Man set leaks magically start popping up a few weeks after F4 was mid at the box office. Fuck. Fuck leaks. Those were allowed pictures. A lot of them. So there's a reason why people were allowed to take all those pictures with that timing. Same with the Deadpool rumors and Doomsday plot leaks. I mean, if those were contrived, I don't know what they would be distracting from. I mean, Doomsday plot leaks, I know what they would be distracting from, but well, no, I take that back. Deadpool rumors would have been distracting from the Marvels. Yeah, 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 yeah. Executive Judge, I got to disagree with you on that one for one simple reason. Spider-Man is the biggest comic book character on the globe. He's the most powerful, popular comic book character on the globe. He sells the most product of any comic book character on the globe. Brave New World is easily on the scale of Deadpool and Wolverine. The reason MCU needs public talk about something other than the mid MCU movies in 2025. Well, see, here's the thing. Only Brave New World was mid. Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four were really good, but not a lot of people went to watch them because they're sick of Marvel's bullshit. And broke. Not a good combination. If you're killing it, if people really want to go to the theater to watch your fucking movie, they will find a way. But if they don't think that shit's worth it, they're going to be like, fuck you, I'm broke. There's no reason to put forth the effort for that shit. I think that 4 is set to cross $450 million at the box office this weekend. Yeah, that shit ain't hitting 5. I thought maybe it could leg out this month with no competition, but Superman, even with the digital release, Superman still did good numbers today. D&D's going to do great regardless, but No Way Home levels are good. Money wise, oh no, it's not gonna do No Way Home. It's not gonna do almost $2 billion with no China. I mean, even with Spider-Man being the biggest comic book hero on the globe, China only likes dinosaurs at this point. They are over American superheroes. We haven't made shit in China for like a while. Maybe we did okay with Deadpool and Wolverine. Let me find out. Final total. Okay. Okay, yeah. Deadpool and Wolverine only didn't even do 60 million in China. Almost 60 million. They made it. Oh yeah, my bad. My bad, dub. My bad. But yeah, even Deadpool and Wolverine only did 59.6 million in China. No Way Home did almost 2 billion without it. Brand New Day is not going to do that well. It could, but I don't think it's going to hit 1.9. Anything else? Good there. We're good there. Okay, cool. All right, so one last thing. Y'all remember that little kerfluffle about when Charlie Cox made it sound like season 2 was the final season of Daredevil, and then D'Onofrio was like, "Nah, fam, there's probably gonna be a third one." Well, we now have this. Charlie Cox has apologized for saying that Daredevil Born Again season 2 will be the quote-unquote final season. He also jokingly added that he received a few calls from his employers about it. Well, that's good. Well, at least it should be good. Because like I need season 2 to be like awesome. Because while I like season 1 and I stand on that. I enjoyed season 1. I also know it could have been way better. I understand why a lot of people didn't like it. I mean, between the Frankensteining and the fact that fewer people, well, there are a lot of people that like procedurals, like courtroom procedurals and shit. There's a shit ton of people that don't, and there's a shit ton of people that really don't want their thing, shit like that, in the middle of their comic book show when they could have the main character be out there in costume whooping ass instead of in a courtroom. So, I mean, that's totally fucking fair. Like, I love procedurals. I wouldn't have minded a little less procedural and a little more ass kicking, you know? So, yeah, I'm really hoping that Daredevil Season 2 will be awesome. Because I enjoyed Season 1, but it was not awesome. I really want Season 2 to be awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's cool that the possibility of a Season 3 is still open. I'm glad. But I reserve the right to change my opinion based on how much I enjoy Season 2. If Season 2 also sucks or is not great, I may have to get my Josh on and be like, cancel that shit. Don't need no mo. It ain't performing. Love you guys. You guys can still be awesome cameo fodder, but your show's done. Sorry. Yeah. What do you guys think, chat? Thoughts, questions, concerns on anything we've talked about to this point? While you are thinking about all the things you're going to type into chat, I'm going to go pee pee. Be right back. I'm going to turn the music up even, and we'll see if I remember to turn it down when I get back. Because let's face it, not super consistent with that. Born Again Season 2 could really make or break the overall show if it's the final season. Well, Season 2 could cause the show to cause itself to be the final season. Ass. So yeah, Season 2, it will make or break the show. Not because it's the final season, but because it could be. It breaks the show. If it makes the show, they'll probably do a season. Yeah. All right. There we go. My titties found. Fuck off. I know people might be a little shocked that Superman outperformed F4, but traditionally none of the F4 movies have done all that great. Yeah, I mean they're the F4 in the cinema, it has a pretty checkered past. That is 100% true. I will say, I expected this, despite that cinematic history for that group of heroes. I expected it to be really, really good, and it was. I expected word of mouth I expected positive reviews and word of mouth to help out a lot more than it actually did. And then I thought it would get legs because of the word of mouth and all that shit, and also because within the next week or two, all this competition is going to go poof. And the people will be like, okay, yeah, that was pretty good. I haven't seen it in like a couple weeks. Let's go check that shit out. You know, Brennan, what's happening? So yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised, but also like they're all well. Also, Marvel's recent performance, with a couple of exceptions, has not been great. People have not enjoyed the shit. There's that, and also kind of because of that, the combination of that and the fact that the general public doesn't really give two shits about the F4. You know? Like, they're not well known. The F4 have never been part of the general audience like that. Except maybe for people to shit on them. That's it. I mean, they're not a big name with Dorman. They never have been. I mean, we know they're the first people. We know how dope Reed Richards is. We know how dope Dr. Crick is. We know how dope the thing being, this big-hearted awesome dude is. We know how awesome Sue is. And Franklin and Valeria are fucking ridiculous. We know how dope the F4 is. We know. General public, not a fucking clue. So, between that and Marvel's recent history, it's not that big a shock that Superman out there. Plus, Superman's new. Or at least this version is new. Like, we haven't had an actual Superman movie in the theater, solo Superman movie in the theater, in 12 years? Man of Steel came out in 2013, right? So it's either a dozen or a baker's dozen years since our last solo Superman. That probably helped a little. The fact that there are a lot of people, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Man of Steel. That movie's great. I did not mind a darker Superman. There's a lot of people that do. A lot of people that are like, fuck that, Superman's supposed to be a Boy Scout. And that's what James Gunn fucking gave him. You know? So, I mean, in different circumstances, okay, well, specifically Marvel not having tanked themselves over the last 3 years, um, F4 still probably would have outperformed Superman just because people would have been like, well, because Marvel would have been on a roll and they would actually have the trust of the general audience. As opposed to reality right now, which is they fucking don't. Third MCU movie come out in 2025, 3 movies out before August. Yeah, that's not great. Yeah, I mean, that's you're cramming your own shit together. On top of the fact that like you left yourself in July and you had an open slot. Pretty sure they could have pushed it out a month or 3. Still standing by Cap 4 and Thunderbolt should have been one movie similar to Civil War. 4 should have come out around Labor Day weekend. Give it some breathing room. You know, I never even thought about doing that Civil War style. That actually could have been. That's a good fucking idea, bro. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Or no Superman than F4 for sure, but I never seen Man of Steel or BVS theater, nor did I see any Nolan Batman. I saw. Did I go to the theater for Dark Knight Rises? I can't remember. I think I probably did. I definitely saw Batman Begins and fucking the Dark Knight theater. I did not see I didn't see any of the DCEU in the theater. I always saw it after the fact. Yeah, I never saw any of the DC. Well, I take that back. I saw. Pretty sure I saw the first Aquaman in the theater. Saw the Flash in the theater. I think I even went to Aquaman too. That's it. Out of the DCEU. Oh, that kind of no. You're not a dunce. Autocorrect probably fucked you up. Happens to me all the goddamn time. Yeah, I'm 98% sure I saw the whole Nolan trilogy in the theater, but I'm 100 on the first one. I flashed the theater only because I wanted to see the DCEU crash and burn. No, I bought the hype. I was like, this is going to be pretty cool. Not so much. I mean, it wasn't Love and Thunder bad. It wasn't the Suicide Squad bad. Pick your favorite dumpster fire movie. Flash was not as bad as them. Definitely not good. All right. If y'all aren't too marveled out by now, so y'all remember we went over part 1 of Alex President's Discord Q&A on Wednesday? Well, my guy put out part 2 today, boy! And instead of talking about Doomsday, this time we're talking about Equal and Post Secret. Ooh, have Cap and Bucky on the government side protecting Sentry Mid-movie fight against Thunderbolts until Sentry turns into Void. Cap and Bucky find out what government did to Sentry and help Thunderbolts stop the Void. Yep, you win. They all come together to fight Red Hulk at the end. You win. Actually did not mind Supergirl in the Flash movie. Oh, I didn't mind her. I just thought the movie overall was kind of nice. I liked what's her fuzzy version Tara Zor-El. And do not reveal Red Hulk at all. They did. Here's the thing. Red Hulk got revealed by McDonald's. Once again, toys are fucking Marvel up. Like, Hot Toys keep fucking putting out like their versions of movie people and like either A, showing us looks, or B, revealing characters. And McDonald's was going to be revealing Red Hulk because the release of their Cap for Happy Meals was based on the 2024 release date. And after it got moved to 2025, McDonald's is like, well, tough shit. That's when these toys are coming out. And out they came. Now, Marvel did not need to double down on that. They did not need to go, okay, well, everyone's going to know he's in it. Let's roll with that. Let's get after it. Now that people know, let's market on that motherfucker. That was where they fucked up. There was no avoiding revealing him. But, right, they put him in multiple trailers. That they should not. A reveal was unavoidable. Leaning into it hard was very, very avoidable. Revealed Red Hulk too late in the movie. Yeah, there's that too. They could have they could have done 2 fights. That would have been sweet. And at the end of the first fight, Red Hulk gets away, and so they don't see who he turns back into. Of course, he'd still look like him in the face. Yeah, it'd be interesting. But yeah, either way, they could have found a way to put at least one more fight in there with the Hulk. Or made that one longer. And they and not have him lose by being cocked. Stupid. Like beating a Hulk with the power of love. Please. They would have done exactly like I said and only reveal Red Hulk at the end as the twist. All the new Avengers would have been together, including Cap and Bucky, with Cap as the leader. Mic drop. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Plus all of them have to fight right together. Yeah, that would also have made more sense. Instead of hugging out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, let's face it. When we put our heads together as a fandom and like just start all vibing together, like members of the fandom are going to come up with kick-ass shit. Like you come up with kick-ass shit right there, and generally our kick-ass shit kicks more ass than what the studio comes up. Now, I'm going to defend the studio just a little. I just realized I'm frozen in my camera. Wow, that was a fucked up face to be frozen. Are we back? Okay, we're back. Yay. Anyway. Anyway. What was I saying? So yeah, I think we need to accept that fan ideas are always going to be way cooler than studio. Now, again, to be fair to the studios, our imaginations have free reign, and we don't have to worry about like cost or scheduling or any of that shit, right? So, I mean, the studios, to be fair, Why is that doing that? That's so fucking annoying. All right. Anyway, I will not be Josh. Even though I'm really tempted to fuck with this until I get it. Oh shit. Stop it. Stop it, mouse button. There, now you guys can do it. Alright. Anyway. I moved me up here. Alright, there we go. No, I can't grab that side. Alright, here we fucking go. Secret Wars and post Secret Wars. Moving into December 27th. With Secret Wars coming up, which universe do you think is going to get merged with our 616/1999999 universe? 828, Fantastic Four universe. 1610, I don't know what fucking universe that is. Or a completely new one that pulls elements from. Anyone know which one is 1610 in the MCU? The only ones I know about, let's see, there's 838 from Multiverse of Madness, 828 from Fantastic Four, 10005 from the post-credit scene of the Marvels. I feel like 1610 is like the Ultimates universe from the comics. I don't think 1610 is in the MCU. I mean, am I wrong on that, chat? I might kill Red Hulk together. I don't know about killing him. I mean, I like the fact that he's in jail now and kind of under control, so he can be brought back. Like, imagine a battle with two Hulks going crazy. I mean, who wouldn't want to see that? I know I want to see that shit. I would love to see that shit. That'd be dope. He don't gotta die, but he does have to get like fucking dump trucked by the group. Here's the biggest difference between Red Hulk and the Green Savage Hulk we all love. As we know about Hulk's lore in terms of Banner's Hulk, the Green Hulk, the angrier he gets, the stronger. Even the larger, well, they didn't really deal with the massive size increase in the MCU that's true in the comics. He grows stronger and larger, the angrier. Red Hulk gets hotter. Oh, Harrison wants to come back, bro. He had fun. I mean, at least for some like some sweet Hulk action in Secret Wars. And don't forget, some of that concept art had like, it looked like there was like a very Hulk territory or world or however the fuck they're gonna handle that in Secret Wars. And he would have fit in there nicely. Right now, we don't even know who the Avengers are. Both movies talk about being the new Avengers. Yeah. So, like, it's all of them. We don't know who Sam's team is for sure. We know who's on the new Avengers with a Z. The Thunder. But we don't know who's on Sam's team. I mean, we can speculate. Literally said, let's film this piece of shit. Well, yeah, he's a cantankerous old fuck. Yeah, he said he'd come back. No, this is like much more recently. I don't feel like going to find it. Maybe I'll go find it later. Post it Discord or something. Yeah. Anywho. So yeah, look, 1610. I'm pretty sure that's just a comic book universe. Does anyone remember it being in the MCU referenced at all? Was that one of the other alternate universes they mentioned in Multiverse of Madness, or did they just talk about the 838 and 616? I cannot remember. Chad, if you remember if/when the 1610 was mentioned in the MCU, I would love to know if any of you know. But yeah, let's not upset about that. The answer. I have heard that the new Earth 616 will combine elements from all of these variant Earths to make it into the Earth 616 it was originally. I know that last sentence may have confused you, so let me try to break it down. Back when Avengers 5 was still the King Dynasty, one of the big twists is how the Earth we have seen in these films and shows was not Earth 616, but rather a version of Earth 616 cultivated by He Who Remains that removed many heroes from what was originally Earth 616. This would have been called Prime. That's why Doctor Strange vaguely remembers the Fantastic Four as a band that charted in the 60s instead of them being world-renowned astronauts who gained powers after a space exploration, or why Eric Lyncher never became Magneto, or why Charles Xavier was a simple college professor. I don't know where the Lyncher never became Magneto or Xavier was a simple college professor came from, but yeah. The reset expected an event. Hold on. I feel like there's something else. Alright, Kat, do you remember? Like this right here. One of the big twists was how the Earth we have seen in these films and shows was not Earth 616, but rather a version cultivated by He Who Remains that removed many heroes from what was originally Earth 616. Was this? Did this start as a rumor, or did this start as some people just coming up with it as a theory and being right? Anyone remember, was it a rumor first that people expanded on with theory crafting? Like, which came first, the rumor or the theory? Why in the world was Bucky not helping Cap fight Red Hulk, but also kind of cameo in Cap 4, even though they both work together for the president? Yet for some reason Bucky shows up with Thunderbolt. Yeah, I don't know. Stop trying to make that movie make sense, C-Dub. You'll just make your brain melt out your fucking ear hole. Just don't do that to yourself anymore. But yeah, what came first, the rumor or the theory? Any of you know? Let me know. If you don't know, oh fucking well. I'm just curious, but I'm not. Alright, the reset expected in Secret Wars would alter that course of events and bring with it an Earth that was always meant to be filled with Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four. And we'd basically be in the middle of a timeline where everyone in the world thinks that this has always been the case since the beginning of time. Think of the episode in The Flash from Season 6 that occurs after Crisis on Infinite Earths, and Cisco has a meltdown about the consequences of that, episode 10 if I'm not mistaken. That summarizes what Marvel Studios' plan for their main Earth post-Secret Wars would look like. Okay. Nothing really super new there. Like, this is all kind of known already. But, cool. I mean, it's been said for quite some time that, like, the whole point of Secret Wars was to officially bring all the toys together. Now that Marvel basically has them, or if they don't have them outright, they have access. It would be specifically Spider-Man. Well, the characters that Sony still controls, and but yeah, nothing super new there. Yeah. What elements? I like this question. What elements are they taking from Hickman's Avengers: New Avengers: Secret Wars for the upcoming New Avengers movie? The most important one is definitely time runs out in 2015. Okay, so Time Runs Out is um, that's going to be in Doomsday. When they still had a movie coming out in February of next year, when Doomsday was still coming out in May, I was firmly fucking convinced that would be Doctor Strange 3 Time Runs Out. Like, because Doctor Strange is right there with Doom when Doom blows everything the fuck up. Well, blows the Beyonders up and then takes all their power. And then after the multiverse finishes collapsing, he's like, mine, and makes Battleworld. Trying to make sense of the low box office performance of recent MCU movies this year. I'm an analytical nerd and pragmatic. No, I understand. Well, you got to go back in time a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and go down this rabbit hole for a bit. I'm gonna hop for a minute. We have to go back to 2020. Actually, we have to go back to 2022. I think Love and Thunder came out in 22. Now, Love and Thunder still cracked 700 million, but it made most of that in the very beginning, and then like it's God, I already forgot the term. Dummies are kicking in. What do they fucking call that? The box office drop was precipitous after that first weekend because most people realized that movie was hot fucking garbage. So we have that one. And then we go into 2023 and we get Quantumania. Only made for something because it was ass. And then we got Guardians 3. Or wait. Yeah, was it Guardians 3 or fucking Wakanda Forever that came between Quantumania and the Marvels? I forget the order. It was one of the two. Anyway, then we got that, and then we got the Marvels at the end of 2023. So we got Ass, pretty good, performed pretty decent, whichever one it was. I think was a $700+ million movie. If it was Guardians 3, that might have cracked 8. Actually, I can't remember for sure though. And then we got the Marvels, which barely cracked 200 million, and was not that good. And then we got a break, and then we got Deadpool and Wolverine, 1.4 billion, well, 1.3. And okay, cool, awesome. Then we got Brand New Day, which there was so much news on that movie, like it made it out of our bubble. Like the word was out, and then the reviews were shit. Not just the critic reviews, like the early social media reviews, not good. So took a hit right there. And then the nerds went to go see it, and we were like, God damn it. And when normies saw the nerds going, God damn it, they're like, I'm definitely not paying money to go see this one. And then when it comes to Thunderbolts, we've got Marvel's history over the last 2 to 3 years, combined with the fact that the general audience doesn't even know who the Thunderbolts are, nor give a fuck, which is also kind of the same problem with Fantastic Four. So, yeah. Like, that's most of it right there. Fatigue. And, not a great economy. And also, the majority of the movies over the last 3 years not being good at all. Which is a big source of the fatigue. Plus all the other, just the amount of shit there is out there to watch. That's just Marvel. So, I mean, it's a confluence of things, but the big ones are more misses than hits. Being swamped with content, inside said swamp being more misses than hits, and that then leading to people, well, that plus the not that great economy, leading people to make, to choose what they really want to spend their money on. Yeah. If they're not confident they're going to enjoy it, they will not spend their fucking money on it. Those are the biggest ones. Still think it might be Doctor Strange 3, but I'm not completely confident in it now. Still think what might be Doctor Strange 3. The movie next July? There's a good chance, but it won't be Time Runs Out. Like, Time Runs Out has to come before the final collapse of the multiverse. And, I mean, technically this is an assumption, but I'll put it this way. It is an assumption, but it is also generally accepted that the end of Doomsday is going to consist of the final destruction of the multiverse and probably like some cool scene that, like a blackout and then a little bit of a montage of people waking up and looking around going, what the fuck? Something along those. And then Secret Wars will be Secret. But it's entirely possible that they could cut to black before the multiverse actually dies. And then Doc Strange 3 is still kind of sometime runs out. But I don't think so. I don't know what fucking movie they're going to put there, actually. Like, even if it is Doc Strange 3, we're talking about something that is being released between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So it's it's got to have something to do with those two movies. And personally, I have no idea what the Doctor Strange story could be, unless they're just gonna flat go over his fucking, like, kind of be a retrospective on what he was doing leading up to Doomsday or what have you. Or it could end up being a soft introduction to Battle World from Doctor Strange's point of view. That too could be in it. Doom could be in it. They could find a reason for Doom to be in it. Especially Doom and Strange come out of shit when like Strange was there when Doom battled the Beyonders, also known as the Ivory King. He was there when Doom blew the Molecule Man all up in the Beyonder's face. Strange was there for that. They hung out a lot after Doom captured him in the Library of Worlds, I believe, where Strange thought he was going to come face to face with Raboul Malal, which he did, but he didn't know he didn't know Raboul Malal was fucking Victor Von Doom, though. That was a bit of a shock. So, I agree. I think Doctor Strange 3 is the most likely movie to come out in that July time slot. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. It's still the most likely option. Alright. Excuse me. Yeah, time runs out in 2015 sequel. So, basically, Doomsday, Secret Wars. Like, pretty much. That's how it's probably going to be. Right? Okay. In one of the Q&As, you said that Taskmaster will return in Doomsday, and Production Weekly confirmed Olga's presence in the cast as well. How will she return? Alex like, yeah, no. That was probably before the rewrites with Taskmaster. And do they have plans for her after Secret Wars? Nope. Yeah. I know some people were upset with her getting capped, but most people didn't mind. Some people cheered. No one asked for a Cat 4 movie or a Thunderbolt movie. True. Yet both were forced upon us within a span of 90 days. Yeah, it didn't help. Not doing what I just laid out is a layup in characters are the new norm. Yeah. Pushing F4 and MCU movies been suffering from toxic. Oh yeah, no, that's also part of it. Timing is definitely a part of it. Timing's part of the history. Well, no, I take that back. Never mind. Delete that comment. Yeah, no, timing is a lot of it. Like, honestly, the 3 big franchises that came out last month, like, they all should have been like, you know what? We might really hurt each other. Like, if they had smart executives, like, the studio execs would have got together and been like, guys, we could all make more if we weren't all putting out in the same month. And then they, fought and argued and haggled and thumb wrestled and mud wrestled till they figured out, like, who moved to when. I mean, one of them would obviously stay in. So, but they could have hashed that shit out and spread them out. Hell, you could have pushed fucking Fantastic Four to, like, November. Especially after you delayed Doomsday. Push Fantastic Four to late November. Why late November? What's in late November, chat? What is in late November? Utopia 2 and Wicked for Good. What is in every late November? This always occurs in late November. Cat 4 felt like a sequel to the Hulk movie without the Hulk and without Steve Rogers. Like, what? There's no speaking up at Marvel about this anymore? No, it was what it was a horrible attempt at tying up Falcon and Winter Soldier and the Incredible Hulk. There are many, many ways in which they could have done the same, like set out to accomplish the same goal, but just done it fuck ton better. Like, I don't have a problem with them trying to tie up some loose threads and shit. It's just the way they chose to do it was, hey, usually a big Disney movie is out late November. Yes. Wow. There's a reason they put stuff out in late November. It's because of something that occurs every late November. Thanksgiving. Why would Thanksgiving matter to the release of F4? Well, what's Thanksgiving about besides all the delicious food? Or let me rephrase that. Besides all the delicious food, what is Thanksgiving supposed to be about? Right. Exactly. Thanksgiving is supposed to be all about family. What's F4 about? Primarily. Exactly. That's why you push F4 out of the end of July to the end of November. Or like the week before Thanksgiving, mid-November. That way it has some separation from whenever in December as executive judge. So maybe you put it out the week before Thanksgiving, but still around Thanksgiving when people are beginning to think of family and all that shit. Yeah, they would have made a lot more money then. Superman would have made a lot more money without being sandwiched between F4 and Jurassic World Rebirth. And Jurassic World Rebirth probably would have cracked a Billy if it came out in May. Yep. Timing, baby. Alright, so... Oh, like, according to Alec, Taskmaster is staying fucking dead. There we go. My version, Isaiah Bradley is also helping on Team Cap Bucky protect Sentry from Thunderbolts before turning into Void. Why are we doing this mind control? Because of the leader. I mean, the concept is cool. The whole what's that goddamn book? I can't remember anything anymore. Team Cap doesn't know about the Void, or the government did create Sentry and Thunderbolt 2. That is correct. Shit. Anyway, the mind control thing, when done well, is actually pretty cool. They just didn't do it well. Oh, yay, good question coming up next. Good question coming up next, Cat. We also have Void kill Taskmaster in that Civil War battle. Make that the switch, just like Vision hitting Rhodey. Yeah, dude. 100%. Yep. Last time we saw Rhodey before he was a Skrull. Fuck that show. Isaiah Bradley back in jail is just lazy writing. Yep, it is. You speak facts, sir. And chat, fair warning, the gummy is definitely kicking in. We'll see how the rest of this shit goes. But yeah. That shit should have been spread out like a $2 hoe. Anyway. If that one gets me canceled, probably not. Again, I'm not big enough to get canceled. But I'm not. Stupid. But I probably could get away more easily than with what 6 months. All right, here we go. So Kevin Feige said in a recent interview how after Avengers Secret Wars, they plan to reset the MCU, because reboot's a scary word, remember, and recast a lot of the characters we knew from the whole MCU, like Iron Man and Captain America. I'm wondering if you know what characters will not be recast after Secret Wars and will stay with their same actor/actress. Scarlet Witch, for starters. Ooh, Lizzie is staying. Whoop, whoop. We kind of already knew that, but yeah. All he gives us. All right. I mean, I'm perfectly happy with Lizzie hanging around. Do you see the Champions/Young Avengers project being set before or after Secret Wars? Any chance to see the Eternals in Secret Wars? After? So there's still time to not do it, Marvel. You still have time to say, you know what, this probably ain't the best idea, and then shelve that shit. And no Eternals and Avengers Secret Wars as far as I know. I mean, that'd be a lot to cram in there. Honestly, the Eternals is something they definitely shouldn't worry about until after Secret Wars. Because, as we've talked about before, there's a very kick-ass comic story that involves them, the Celestials, and so that'll finish all that unfinished business from the Eternals movie. And it involves the X-Men, who will be in the MCU by that point. If I recall correctly, the name of the story is Judgment Day, and it's fucking nuts. And that's when you bring the Eternals back. Not in their own movie ever again. So you bring them in as a crew when you need to, and that story is the perfect way to bring them back. Okay, since Secret Wars is looking like any and every Marvel character could appear in it, true, do you think there's a chance Baymax from Big Hero 6 could appear, since that is a Marvel character? Baymax is a Marvel character? Well, I was today years old when I learned that. God, I would love that more than anything. Big Hero 6 is one of my favorite franchises, and they wish they made a sequel or more with it. Big Hero 6 is no, I think that's more Disney. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't hate it if Big Hero 6 popped up in Secret Wars, but I'd also be like, was that really necessary? Like, real talk, as much as I love the Spider-Verse movies, like, I don't think they needed to go that ham with, like, the Spider-Man thing. That's just... Okay. Is Kang the Conqueror blacklisted from the future of the MCU, or are there actually some plans for him to possibly be a villain of an Avengers movie? Obviously, a recast reboot of Kang. I'm sure they could revisit him in the future. Yeah. But, not in the same type of way that they were going to deal with him in this phase. He's more... He could be a recurring villain, but he can't be like the big bad. And it would not surprise me if they actually did. I don't know if it'd be Jonathan Majors. Kang is not awesome from what I'm given to understand, but I'm also given to understand that there are a couple really good stories that involve him, or I should say, where he is involved in a significant way. I mean, there are ways for Kang to be cool. They just gotta do the right story. Is there any possibility of Hydra's most notorious criminals to reappear in the future after Superman? Rucker, Viper, Red Skull. Absolutely. After the reset, everything is fair game to be brought back. And I like Daniel Bruhl. He's fun. He was really good in Inglourious Basterds. I think that's the first thing I saw him in. And then I saw him in Winter Soldier. I was like, oh, that guy. Post Secret Wars, do you think we will get back to some projects with characters like probably younger Tony Stark, younger Downey Jr., I mean? Or will they keep the previously main Avengers in this new world in the background and let characters like Riri, Kamala, Billy, and Tommy Centershine just have the old heroes casually show up? There will be previously dead heroes and villains brought back from what I've been told, mainly because with reset, certain events that we know happen in the MCU will have occurred in a different way. Thank God, because this is a horrible idea, Vic. Keeping the previously main Avengers in the background and let characters like Riri, Kamala, Billy, and Tommy shine and just have the old heroes dead. No. Just fucking no. No. That is a recipe for disaster. How do I know? You ask? How do I know that would be an insanely stupid idea and a massive failure? And while it'll never totally go away, it would be the end of the MCU as we know it, even now. Even as low as it is now, they did that. Cooked. How do I know? Phases 4 and 5 when they already fucking tried it and failed. Like, what the actual fuck? That is a horrible idea. That is no. It's just Anyway, yeah, no. And I'm glad Alex was like, basically said, no, they're not doing that makes me, oh my god. Anyway, since Kingpin most likely won't be in Spider-Man Brand New Day, do they plan to ever use him in a Spider-Man movie? And will his storyline be wrapped up in like Spider-Man 5 or 6, or Daredevil Born Again Season 3, or something? Excellent question. The plan with Kingpin is to have him face off against Spider-Man, which hasn't changed. And for Brand New Day, if possible, we could see a mid-credit or post-credit scene that would tease an upcoming bout against him. It should be noted that Vincent D'Onofrio not long ago stated on Josh Horowitz's podcast that, quote, it's a very hard thing to do for Marvel to use my character. It's a very hard thing to do because of ownership and stuff. Right now, I'm only usable for television series, different kinds of series, whatever it is, but not even a one-off Fisk movie or anything like that. I'm all caught up in rights. The interesting thing here is that Columbia Pictures owns the film rights for Kingpin, as it does Spider-Man. Yeah, because Columbia is a Sony company. Like, yeah, it's Sony Columbia. Like, of course they own the film rights for Kingpin and Spider-Man. That's not interesting. That's a given. So yeah, if we're gonna actually get the Kingpin in an MCU movie, Sony's gonna have to say, yeah, okay, that's cool. Now I'm sure they would for the right price. So yeah, I imagine we will see Kingpin in an like a full-on MCU feature, and not just a show, like a cinematic MCU feature. Yeah, it's just a matter of what Marvel Studios and Sony, I suppose technically Columbia, but Sony, work out. Can we expect a gang/turf war going on in New York City after Born Again Season 2 and The Punisher? A lot of the people Kingpin has locked up are going to be very, very angry with him. So yeah, it'd be safe to say the war on Fisk is going to be waged. Ooh. And he says, after Born Again Season 2 and The Punisher. So I would imagine that would also be after Spider-Man Brand New Day. And since there's going to be a humongous ass fucking battle in New York involving Spider-Man, Punisher, and Hulk, I would imagine that that's going to cause damage. I would imagine it's entirely possible that some of that damage was caused to an incarceration facility. And, that's one way to do it. Or at least, people they're associated with that are still on the outside are like, yeah, we're going to make these motherfuckers pay now. We can operate. Look at all the distractions. Look at all the destruction. Look at all the big shit that they have to do. We can run rampant. And I can't wait to fucking see it. I feel like that could be something that I feel like that'd be a cool plot for Spider-Man 5 is this here fucking street war. You can bring Frank back again. And then you can bring Daredevil into that. Can you imagine? Peter, Frank, and Matt as a trio fighting against all these gangsters and whatnot. Even though they would technically be defending Kingpin or keeping him alive at least. But yeah, how awesome would that be for Spider-Man 5? Spider-Man, Frank, and Matt against the Kingpin and Street Gang. Give me that all day. Give me that all fucking day. Take that. All right. Marvel Studios are strongly considering Mike Coulter, Kristen Ritter, and Finn Jones to return in Daredevil Born Again Sandbox. How exactly would they be reintroduced in the MCU now that Daredevil is building an army of good authoritative figures, civilians, and vigilantes? They've gone into hiding. The fuck? Isn't Kristen Ritter, like, she's confirmed for Daredevil Season 2, isn't she? Pretty sure she's confirmed. I don't know about Luke Cage or Iron Fist, but she's confirmed. We're getting Jessica Jones. I thought. Am I wrong about that, Chad? Is she not confirmed? I thought she was confirmed. Hey, guess what, Chad? If no one told me, I didn't turn the fucking music back on. Thanks for that. All right. Gone into hiding. That's so weird. Benedict. Oh, well, I mean, considering what Kingpin is doing, I guess that does make sense. So they'll just pop up out of hiding at some point. All right, cool. Benedict Cumberbatch has already confirmed that Doctor Strange will have a major role in Secret Wars and that he will appear in Avengers Doomsday in some capacity. With the filming of Avengers Doomsday slightly extended, I was wondering if you can elaborate on what role Doctor Strange will have in Doomsday. Exactly what he was asked to do: fix an incursion by any means necessary. Okay, well, he was asked to do that by Ms. Clea, right? And what's interesting is Alex tweeted out, I think it was yesterday, this simple little tweet. 3 words. Never trust Clea. So combine that with what he was asked to do by Clea: fix an incursion by any means necessary. That will probably be your Doc Strange 3 plot. He's gonna, these two dipped out to go fix an incursion, and I'm sure she's gonna get up to some hijinks, especially given what Alex tweeted out. So that, and then, what the final goal of that movie will end up being, I have no fucking clue yet, but yeah, these two hanging out, trying to fix an incursion, and her being up to no good. Her goal of being up to no good, I have no fucking clue, but, if she's a black swan, her goal would be to take him to Doom, which would fit, because if they're adapting somewhat even of Hickman, then those two got to be hanging out. Yep. So that would be that would be probably the simplest way to get Strange and Doom together, is to have Clea be a black swan. That'd be super simple, super convenient, and make perfect sense, because that's kind of sort of how it happened in the comics. Well, no. I mean, black swans are heavily involved, both with Doctor Strange and like in other places too. So, but yeah, that's something along those lines is probably your Doctor Strange 3, if that's what's coming out in July of 2027. Will we get to see what Strange and Clea were up to between the ending of Multiverse of Madness and Avengers? Here we go. Yep. This would be a good time to remind everyone that the flow of time is different in the Dark Dimension, since it is basically non-existent. So even though it has been 3.5 to 4 years since Stephen Strange has been on Earth, imagine how much time would have passed in the Dark Dimension. Okay. What are you saying? Good time to remind everyone that the flow of time is different in the Dark Dimension, since it's basically non-existent. So even though it will have been 3.5 to 4 years since Strange was seen on Earth, imagine. Okay. So basically what he's saying is that at the end of Multiverse of Madness, when Strange goes off with Clea, when Doomsday rolls around, it'll have been 3.5 to 4 years in Marvel MCU continuity. But since he's going to be in the dark dimension, time is basically non-existent, which means while it would have been that long here for him, it could have been as quick as a minute. It could have been that long. It could have been 20 fucking years, but he's not going to age in there because time is almost non-existent, or he'll barely age. And that's also a good way if they want to keep the plot as just these two. I mean, I would imagine by the time that movie's over, they'll be out of the dark dimension and they'll be back in the normal time stream. But at that point, how that movie and Doomsday were probably running pretty close to concurrently will be explained once they get back to the 616 and figure out how long they've been gone. You know what I mean? Am I making sense with that? Oh, hey, look, that's it. That was actually pretty cool. Like, not a whole bunch of big surprises in here or anything. A fair chunk of confirmation about stuff we, we're sure about, but I mean, technically, even with Alex, you can't be sure. But, yeah, that was pretty fucking cool, yo. Pretty fucking cool. All right. I'm going to go pee. And then I'm going to explain how these Doomsday leaks are not that bad and how they can work, despite the paranoia of some people. All right. All right. You guys ready? You guys ready to hear how things are not that bad? Yes, Chad, it is time. We are going to talk about those leaks. We're going to talk about why they do appear to be lame, but how they can actually work in a reasonable way that will lend itself to a pretty fucking good movie once it's combined with actual actors and, visuals and shit. So, but in order to talk about how they're going to work, you have to know what the fuck they are. So, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to let Josh do some heavy fucking lifting. And I'm going to dip into his Thursday stream um, where he was upset about these leaks. But did a pretty good summary of it. So let's check that shizzle out, baby.
So, no Dark Avengers, no Hydra Cap, no nothing like that. Okay. Now the crux of the leaks is that the multiverse is still collapsing, of course. And Doctor Doom, he has been studying the collapse of the multiverse, and he figured out what the problem is, and he figured out what the solution is. The problem is Steve Rogers. Okay? So, in the leaks, the new leaks, Doctor Doom will realize that when old Steve Rogers decided to go live with Peggy Carter, that is actually what destabilized the entire multiverse, started the incursions, and started the destruction of the multiverse. Now, we're going to talk more about that because there's actually there's a lot that I want to get into with that. It's like, what? But here's the point. He was not supposed to do that. He did it, and it breaks the multiverse. Okay. Here's where it gets weird. Doctor Doom's plan is to work with the Fantastic Four. Doom's going to basically explain to them that the incursions are happening. All these Earths are going to be destroyed, including their own. They're all going to go into 616 and work with the Avengers to go stop the incursion on the sacred timeline by going into the X-Men universe. Okay, so this is all kind of stuff we've heard, right? But the real thing that Doctor Doom is trying to do is get the attention of the TVA, or like get the TVA to be involved so he can find out how to get to the TVA. And he wants to time travel to prevent Steve Rogers from going to live with Peggy. Now, this is crazy, of course, because it's just weird, right? Like, that's not how time travel works. Like, they spent all this time in Endgame setting it up where it's like, that's not how that shit works. Once it happens, it happens. So maybe either Doom has the ability to do actual causal time travel, which we did see Loki do. In season 2, Loki has the power to do that, right? So maybe that's what it is. But he's going to try to use causal time travel to prevent Steve Rogers from going back in time to live with Peggy, thereby stopping the incursions. Okay. That's the basics of it. This is probably not going to work. In fact, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Multiverse collapse. Doom makes his way to where Loki is at and recreates Battleworld. Now, a lot of that, we already know. Okay? Here's the other side of this that kind of sucks. And again, maybe there's more to it, but this is just what I was told. There's literally no reason that RDJ is Doctor Doom, right? So this theory that I had where Tony was a Stark variant, that's not what it is. He's literally just Doctor Doom. And maybe, it's possible he decides to wear the face of Tony Stark simply because he wants to pretend to be Tony Stark to win the trust of those Avengers. Like that is something that keeps coming up, and that I think is real. So maybe like that post-credit scene with the Fantastic Four, and the reason that Franklin's looking at his face or whatever is because Franklin can tell there's like magic that's there or whatever, and maybe he just made himself look like Tony Stark. I don't know. But it's either that or there's literally no reason. Now, this is why I think this is so silly. A lot of you guys did not like my theory, and I totally understand it. But the one thing I kept saying was, it's either something incredibly meaningful like this, or there's no good explanation. And, there's this idea, right, that's in Deadpool and Wolverine that Chris Evans is both Johnny Storm and Captain America. Okay. And I thought to myself, there is no way that they're just going to do that. Like, there's no way it's just, oh, they just look the same. That's just how the multiverse works. But apparently, from what I'm hearing, that is what it is. Like, and again, hopefully this person's wrong. Hopefully there's more to it. I'm being told there is no fucking reason. Do you want to know what the reason is? They just wanted to cast RGJ. That's it. That's the reason. That's the reason. The reason is they just wanted to cast RGJ. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that's true. But we'll see. Like, that just seems so stupid. Okay. Anyway.
Oh, God damn it. I think he's almost done.
So, what else can I say about it? Basically, the movie will get to the point where Doom is just trying to get to Loki to remake Battleworld because the entire multiverse has collapsed. I would imagine at that point, a lot of the characters that survive the collapse of the multiverse will either be in the TVA, in between different collapsing universes, maybe in like
Void.
spaceships like the Ark or whatever.
The Void.
And I would imagine it's going to be pretty similar to 2015 Secret Wars. The multiverse and Battleworld is recreated. Some people survive the original version of the universe to get into there. So, look, at the end of the day, plenty of room for really cool shit to happen.
Okay, so that's the leaks. Now, here's where I address the issues with the leaks and show you how it's not as bad as they sound. My notes. One of the things Josh brought up was causal time travel is not how it was set up in Endgame. We saw Loki do it, but still, overall, not consistent with the MCU in general. Well, the way I see it, that would not actually be causal. Doctor Doom going back and stopping Steve would not actually be causal. What it would be the inverse of when Captain America put all the stones back. He put them back to restore the timeline. In this case, Doctor Doom wouldn't be going back to wouldn't be got with causal time travel because he'd just be doing the opposite. He would instead of putting stuff back that belonged there, he would be removing something that didn't. He'd basically be pruning Steve and not the entire timeline. Is what that would boil down to. That's all he'd be doing is removing something that didn't belong there. There's nothing causal about that. Like nothing else would change. Like obviously Steve traveled back to the 40s to be with Peggy. All Doom would have to do is show up and remove him, and the world would know no different. They'd all think that Steve perished when that big ass fucking hydroplane thing crashed, and then he'd be frozen in the ice still until, S.H.I.E.L.D. found his ass. None of that would change because Steve was already not there in the first place. So, not causal time travel, just the inverse of putting shit back so it runs right. In this case, it's removal. So, solve that one. Now, the intimation that it's possible that, like, the only reason RDJ is Doom is because Marvel just fucking wanted him to be Doom. Like, there's no reason he's gonna look like Tony Stark other than they're just like Robert Downey's awesome. He should be Doom. Well, I think like Josh answered his own question. Like, it's gonna be he's wearing Tony's face to bamboozle the Avengers into trusting him. I don't think it's any deeper than that. I mean, I know, I know Josh wanted it to be deeper than that. Um, I don't think it's any deeper than that. But I also don't think they're like. I do 100% agree. They wouldn't. I don't think it's just because they wanted RDJ to be Doom. Like, there's a story reason. There's a story reason. And it's probably as simple as Doom is aware of, you know, who Tony was and what he meant to the people in this timeline. So he'd be like, well, I can be a variant and they'll trust me. And then I will sucker them into doing what I want them to do. And then I'll dip. Laughing all the way. So, yeah, that's exactly what the solution was proposed already. Um, so, yeah, that's that one. Next one. Steve and Peggy being together, breaking the multiverse, makes no sense. I had to think long and hard on this because I thought I had a solution, and then I remembered something and realized I didn't have a fucking solution at all. So I went back and was thinking, and then I remembered that the Russo brothers, um, like a couple, 2 or 3 years after Endgame, had stated that when Steve went back, he stayed in the sacred timeline, and that there are two Steve Rogers existing simultaneously in the 616. There's the Capsicle, and there's now modern Steve Rogers back with Peggy. According to the Russos, that's the case. So, how does Steve staying with Peggy in the sacred timeline cause the multiverse to destabilize and incursions begin to happen? Well, I think it goes like this. Originally, I thought it would be a branch timeline, and I was going along the same line of thought as with the Loki and Sylvie creating getting the feels and creating that crazy ass branch timeline that almost redlined on them. And then I was like, yeah, that's got to be it. And then I remembered old Steve was at the funeral in Endgame. So if he's from a branch timeline, how did he get back to the main timeline? So once I thought of that, I'm like, okay, they're going with how the Russo said it, and that they exist in the 616 sacred timeline simultaneously. Now, the question again becomes, so if he stayed with Peggy and there are now two in the timeline, how does that cause incursions? Well, I'll tell you. And I'm dipping into like sci-fi tropes and trends for this answer. Now, comic books are comic books, right? But comic books employ a shit ton of sci-fi in them. A lot of sci-fi tropes, a lot of sci-fi ideas. There's a shit ton of sci-fi in comics. So I remember that in a lot of sci-fi I've watched that dealt with alternate universes, not necessarily multiverses per se, but alternate universe. Well, technically they would be multiverses. They were referred to as alternate universes. So, but anyway, I've seen a lot of sci-fi that dealt with alternate universes / multiverses. And the effects of having someone from an alternate universe in what would be like from the point of view of the project, the main universe, or vice versa. Anyway, someone not from their own universe in a different universe. And there's a few different kind of results. Um, one of the most common being uh, causing what's called a paradox, which is when you have two beings in the same universe at the same time and one of them doesn't fucking belong there. You start causing ripples in the time stream, right? That's how that goes in general in sci-fi. You got two people, two different versions of the same person existing simultaneously. Uh, things start to things start to move in the time space continuum when that happens, right? So if Endgame Steve put all the Infinity Stones back, which he was supposed to do, but then went back to the 40s and stayed with Peggy, which he's not supposed to do. Um, so he's there, and the capsule is in the Arctic or wherever the fuck that plane crashed. Um, so we have two different versions existing simultaneously. So thus a paradox is created. Now, the paradox doesn't go nuts right from jump. It takes a while. Why? Because the capsule, because there's still a capsule version. There's only one Steve Rogers at that point in time being active. Don't know what he's doing. Well, we know a little bit of what he's doing. He's doing Peggy fucking Carter. Um, but things probably really ramp up so far as the ripples in the time space continuum when they thaw Steve out, and now they're both up and about, running around, being a paradox, and causing even more ripples by both of them being active. And yes, they both have to be active because Capsicle did everything we saw him do, and now we have old Steve Rogers at the end of Endgame. So yeah, they were both running around at the same time. Hell, they were both probably at Tony's funeral. Or was Cap gone time traveling when we got old Cap in the end? I haven't watched Endgame in a hot minute. Someone help me out with that one, please, in chat. Um, was like regular Cap at the funeral, or was he putting the stones back at that point in time? Did we have old Cap and young Cap at Tony's funeral? Oh, it's possible we had old Cap and young Cap at fucking Peggy's funeral, bro. Although that would, I'm not even trying to break that one down. Fuck that. Anyway, so point being, when you got two versions of the same person, where one of them does not belong there in that area of space time, you start causing problems in the time stream or in space time. And when you start causing problems in space time, bad shit starts happening. You cause enough problems in space time, then it's when you start affecting universes as a whole, and enough ripples will put that universe in motion, and then the next thing you know, you have an incursion. And then that incursion leads to two more incursions, which then leads to four, which then leads to eight, which then leads to an exponential expansion of the collapse of the multiverse. It's not a branch timeline that causes the incursions because it can't be because old Steve was at fucking Tony's funeral. So it has to be them existing in the same timeline simultaneously, even though they're from two different time periods on the time screen, thusly creating a paradox that causes ripples in space time that causes universes to start to shift. And as a result of shifting, there came a crash. The explosion of which started shifting more universes, and then we got a couple more. And then we got a few more. And then we got See where I'm going with this? Paradox. That explains it. Not branch timeline. Paradox. All right. Next thing I want to talk about and help explain is how Josh described how he thought the movie would go, and I want to make him feel better.
Only evil and greater evil exist, and beyond them, in the shadows, lurks.
Why is it Doctor?
So now, really nobody. Yeah, no one gives a fuck about this shit. All right. Anywho, we're gonna go through Josh's theory on how the movie's gonna go, and which was, as you recall, pretty dim. So I'm gonna brighten it up.
To look up at the nighttime sky is to become a part of a long line of people.
Mad at Loki. Okay, let me try to TLDR this. Okay. So, based on everything we've heard, let me try to kind of make sense of Doomsday and tell you how I think this movie's going to go. So, the beginning of the movie, Doctor Doom, we're going to see him with the Fantastic Four. He's going to be like, Reed, are you ready? Boom, yes, let's go. Boom, and they go into 616. Okay, so they get there, and Doctor Doom will confront the 616 Avengers, and he's going to be like, I'm a Tony Stark variant from a different Earth named Doctor Doom. And they're all going to be like, that's tight, dude. That name is dope. I love the drip. Like, the cloak is really cool. This is nice.
Doctor Doom is tight. Okay.
And also, you look just like Tony, so I believe you. You have my trust instantly, right? And he's going to be like, dope, cool, great. And then all the Fantastic Four are going to kind of be like this. And they're going to be like, Reed, why do you got that face? And then he's going to be like, no reason. No reason. This dude's totally trustworthy for sure. For sure, for sure. Okay? For sure. And they're going to be like, dude, you just look like you're lying. Like your face, you just look like a liar. Like, are you lying about this shit right now? And then Johnny's going to be like, no, Dr. Doom's the best, man. Don't let the name fool you. On our Earth, if you're named Doom, it actually means you're a hero and shit. And then everybody's like, okay, cool. We're going to go with this because I just get a feeling that you were paid $80 million to be in these movies. So we're just going to go with it. So then all the Avengers that think they're working with a Tony Stark variant are going to go into the X-Men universe, and they're going into the X-Men universe so that they can get Monica Rambeau and stop the incursion. So like, oh shit, big old incursion happening. Oh no, things are really bad. And we better go get Monica. And then they all go there. Doctor Doom's going to send all the Sentinels. Massive fight against all of the X-Men universe and all the X-Men team. And then at the end of the day, this is all probably just to get the TVA to show up. The TVA shows up. Doom flips the script, grabs the TVA person, goes to the TVA. From there, he's going to go after Steve Rogers. Somehow, some way, probably due to Pedro. Pedro will probably be like, oh, you know what? Shit, I was lying this whole time. He's actually going to go kill Steve Rogers, your favorite hero. And he's going to do that before he goes to live with Peggy because it destroyed the whole universe. Okay. So then the other characters probably then travel. Oh, here's something else I learned, which is so silly. Do you remember how, like, America Chavez is a character that can literally make portals between universes? You think they would probably, like, use her in the movie, but they're not. Instead, it's just Franklin Richards. Like Franklin just becomes the way that they travel through universes. So anyway, point is,
Actually, that is silly.
they. I think what's gonna happen is at some point, uh, Doom is gonna be revealed to be trying to use the TVA tech, maybe combined with some Doom tech, maybe just combined with Franklin's powers, and he's gonna try to go back into actual causal time and kill Steve Rogers before he gets into that world. I think the Avengers are going to then go to when Steve kind of like first shows up in that universe through probably time travel. And they're going to try to grab him and save him. And maybe they do, but then the entire multiverse collapses. And then Doom's like, fuck it. Now I got to get to Loki to reset everything, and the Avengers try to stop him from getting to Loki. Maybe Loki has people, then he's trying to stop him as well. And then everything ends. Doom recreates the multiverse, and it ends. That's about what I think's going to happen.
there's behind the scenes. All right, so that was Josh's synopsis on how he thinks Doom, basic kind of bullet point kind of things, how he thinks Doomsday is going to go. Couple things I thought about. More notes. And yes, at this point, I definitely need to read them. Okay, yeah. One thing that he brought up was he was saying that he thought Doom would be introduced to the Avengers wearing Tony's face, and thusly the F4 would have to lie for him. And that would be stupid. Instead, one moment. Instead, a way it could go that would make much more sense than that is picking up from the post-credit scene of Fantastic Four. Picking up off of that, you have what Josh said. You have Doom talking to the Fantastic Four, informing them what he found out about the multiverse. Omitting certain key details he knows about 616. And then getting them all to go to 616. But instead of him meeting the Avengers face to face, wearing Tony's face and putting the Fantastic Four in a position where they have to lie and be douche nozzles, wouldn't it make more sense to have Doom join them, get to the 616, but when they get here, Doom's like, "Yo, Reed, you're like, you guys are super fucking trustworthy. So why don't you go tell the Avengers what's actually going on? I got something over here in this corner of the multiverse I need to go take a look at. So you guys handle the Avengers. I'll be back." So he dips, right? So it's just the Fantastic Four going to talk to the Avengers and be like, "Hey, yo, we come in peace. Everything's fucked." Doom leaves that to the Fantastic Four. And so while, as far as everyone else is concerned, he's off checking something in the multiverse. What he's doing is putting on Tony Stark's face and disguising himself, probably not even in his Doom armor, if he really wants to be serious about it. And he's more than capable of creating something very Stark-like, and not just because of his technical prowess and his intelligence, which, by the way, is greater than Tony Stark's. He also has magic. So if he wanted to look like Tony Stark or pretty much anyone, he could. So he goes away, doesn't meet the Avengers with the Fantastic Four, gets his Tony Stark on, then comes back and is like, "Hey, yo, I just got here. Shit's pretty fucked up out there. I think if we put our minds together, we can get this shit fixed." And they're all like, "Oh my God, it's fucking Tony. We love you, Tony. We trust you, Tony. Let's do this." So, in the guise of Tony Stark, Doom gets everyone to the X-Men universe. Chaos ensues. Um, like most of the rest of what Josh said, I agree with. I think. Let me check my notes. I swear there was one thing else. But yeah, like Doom. Again, Doom can just go off, put let the F4 handle the initial contact, put on his disguise, then come back and bamboozle everyone. Yeah. Other than that, that's pretty much the way it'll probably go. Right. Something that was brought up though is the loom and the TVA were created to prevent uh, things from happening that would damage timeline. And then they'd prune the shit. Something or someone happened where they weren't supposed to. They were like, "Yep, you're gone," and thus the sacred timeline was protected. So if those safeguards were in place, how the fuck was Steve able to stay? And how did he suffer no consequences for doing so? Well, the answer is simple. Loki, well, actually, it would be the end of Loki season 1. Before Steve made his decision to stay, probably even before he went to do the time stone thing, returning him, Sylvia was running a sword through He Who Remains' chest, thus freeing the multiverse, thus causing the breakdown of the loom, thus causing Loki to get his full, finally access his full Lokiness and make himself the root of the multiverse. Yeah. So why didn't the TVA or whatever interfere with Steve? Uh, because He Who Remains was fucking dead. The multiverse was out of control, and the TVA didn't know what the fuck to do. Loki hadn't fixed it yet. So yeah, it is. It is kind of comes down to King lost the plot, but he lost the plot because he lost his life, or He Who Remains, I should say. Um. So yeah, it's not really a contradiction at all. It's just a matter of timing. Steve was able to do it because Sylvie killed He Who Remained. Yep, just that simple in my mind. Oh yeah. At some point in the stream that I don't think I got to, um, Josh brought up some speculation that Doom only popped up because of Steve disturbing not only time and space but Peggy's cheeks. And that's the reason Doom popped up. Well, I don't know how that speculation didn't get dismissed immediately, as at least after Fantastic Four came out, because we found out that Doom has been in the 828 with the Fantastic Four. So he didn't just pop up. He's been in the 828 the way he was supposed to be the entire time. It's like the Fantastic Four were. So he's not popping up out of nowhere just because Steve was clapping cheeks. He existed. He was there. He was around already. It wasn't Steve jarring the timeline that allowed him to exist. He already existed. Like, that speculation is complete bullshit. And I'm not sure how it hasn't gotten caught before now. Or it probably has. And, I just am not in the. And I'm just not in the right areas of the internet to have seen it. But, yeah, speculation's ridiculous. Like, Doom didn't pop up out of nowhere at all. And Steve wasn't the reason we now have Doom. Doom was in the 828. That's all there is to it. I got to pee again. I'll be right back. Ah. What's up, David? How you doing, man? What the fuck? That was weird. Yeah. So what do you think, chat? Did I make it make sense? Did I ease any worries that you may have had? What do you think? How'd I do? Agree, disagree? Think it's a bunch of cope? I mean, a lot of it is like pretty simple to explain away. I will freely admit, and I thought this when I was coming up with it, that more sci-fi theory than comic book theory about the paradox. Um, even I freely admit that I'm stretching. Like, I'm reaching with that one. Like, I freely admit that. But on the whole, I think I made sense. What do you guys think? Did I or at least if not, I completely make it make sense. I think I helped it make more sense. What do you guys think? Yeah, no one gives a fat fuck about Doomsday. Good lord. What do you guys think? Am I onto something? Have I helped you at all? All right. Well, I think it was a good talk. I think there were some cool updates. I was just trying to make everyone feel better with that. Like, I wasn't trying to poop on Josh or anything. You know, like, he's bummed. Other people are bummed. Some of you guys might be bummed. I figured, fuck it. I think I can make it make sense. I think I figured out how to make it make sense. And hopefully, if you agree that I'm making sense, you'll feel better about the whole thing. That's the goal. Yep. That is the goal. So you got anything, chat? Because if not, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I have shit to do tomorrow. I need to start my night process. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and dip. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I had fun talking about this stuff with you. So, thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your time with me, whether you were here live, lurking, in the chat, if you're on the replay and have made it this far. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have not hit the buttons, please do so. And by that, I mean the like. Everyone needs to hit the like. And if you're not subscribed, then you also need to hit that button and the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate that. So, thanks for being here. Alien Earth Episode 3, Watch Party Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Regular midweek Wednesday stream, 9 p.m. And then next Saturday at 10. Yeah. You guys have a good rest of your weekend. We will hopefully see you Tuesday at 9 so we can watch some Alien Earth together. Peace. Oh, yeah. I enjoyed our time together here, chat. I always do. You guys are dope. Thanks for being here. You're the best. Again, Tuesday night Alien Earth Watch Party. Midweek, regular midweek Wednesday stream. Regular end week Saturday stream next week. Have a good weekend. Be safe. See you Tuesday. Much love.